homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha. Well, good evening, everyone. It is so good to see you all, and welcome guests. We are right smack in the middle of this Rohatsu retreat, and for those not on retreat, it's just an interesting experience of this heightened awareness to each moment, how time completely either distorts or becomes clear, which is around now. It seems like days and days have passed since we've begun, and also that we just started. And that in this middle of the retreat, that there are days and days left to go, and that Sunday will just be in the blink of an eye. So it's a very interesting way of life that we cultivate. It's an honor to be together for this Rohatsu. And I want to talk a little bit more about this precious mirror samadhi, or precious mirror awareness, that we are swimming in deeply by now. This famous chant or song from the 8th century China that's come down to us. Precious mirror awareness. And by now, for those of you familiar with it, some of the phrases might start to pop out and start to make sense in one's own experience, particularly in retreat as we are living it out. It talks about the challenges in these coded ways, outside still and inside trembling. When we take the Zazen posture in retreat, how we encounter and navigate through all our demons and frustrations. Outside still, inside anxious. Or those long, sleepy Zazen periods that seem like they go on for 10 or even 11 long kalpas before the bell rings. Yes, like a battle-scarred tiger, we effort in practice. And then there is a moment in retreat where we embrace the territory. We give up the fight. We relax into what's present. Sleepy mind, anxious mind, tearful mind, awakened mind, all embraced. We treasure the roads. And sometimes there is a glimpse, even if for a millisecond, a glimpse of the timeless, of emptiness, of radiance, of perfection, of wholeness. As I was sitting here, I was remembering that Suzuki Roshi, I think, called these moments postcards from emptiness. On retreat, we get little postcards from emptiness. I'm here, waiting to awaken you. This precious mirror samadhi, like all of our liturgy, really works on our unconscious. It's nudging us forward in our seeking. They all say the same thing. The Heart Sutra, the Sandokai, Song of Zazen, it says, yes, keep going. Yes, exactly, keep going. It's encouraging. So I want to return to something Mushin unfolded last night, which is the 5 ranks or 5 positions that are encapsulated in this song of the Precious Mirror Samadhi. And each teacher will teach it slightly differently. And I really enjoyed hearing what Mushin brought out last night about these 5 positions in terms of our inner experience of ourself and letting go of self. how that looks in each of these lenses. Letting go of self, dissolving. And many of you know, in our Sangha at Empty Field Zen West, this this is still my favorite teaching. It is, it keeps being refreshed for me. It's affirming. It's affirming, it's subtle, it's both profound and practical. Tozan's 5 positions. It makes me appreciate the path, and I feel inspired. So to the degree that I can share that, I would like to. This formula of Tozan's, these 5 positions, say something very encouraging, that it's not that we become someone else in practice, the practice of awakening. We don't become someone else. And yet there is something essential that we realize and express, paradoxically. So my way of teaching these 5 positions, and it very much comes from a farmer's life, is to talk about them as seasons. I like to talk about them as seasons because just like any season, it's not that the flora and fauna change radically. There's still the maple tree and the deer in the woods and the crocus bulbs. But something emerges to express itself more fully in each season. It emphasizes something. A season is not over per se, we return to it again and again. And it is also my observation that each of us in practice have tastes of all of these 5 seasons at some point. So we don't need to make them into a ladder, rung 1 through 5. We can appreciate them as whole seasons in themselves. And yet, like the seasons, there is a pattern. There's a pattern. These seasons also, as I observe practice, happen over the arc of an entire lifetime, but they can also happen very quickly. We can go through these 5 seasons in a single retreat, or clarifying a single piece of Dharma. So I'll go through them. And maybe this imagery of seasons will be helpful because they're abstract. So I want to start in winter, where we are in the middle of Rohatsu, with this first season. And I'll pick out some phrases from the Precious Mirror so you can remember them. This first season is encapsulated in a silver bowl filled with snow. This first season is the season we enter, most of us enter practice in. It's the season of suffering. It's what calls us forward on the path. And like any first step, we might want to skip over this. But if we really miss what's being said in this season, we miss something incredibly powerful. Because it is the most major turning point often in our whole life of practice, where we glimpse something other than the usual karmic way of living this life. Something grabs us. A light goes on. Anyway, it could be in reading a sutra. We walk into a zendo for the first time and we feel at home. Where in nature, something drops away, something clicks, that there is more to this life than pushing and pulling, winning and losing, fulfilling the suggestions that life is about material gain or some kind of success. There's something more to wake up to. For some of us, we come right in the midst of tragedy or loss. in the face of death. This is actually probably the most important season in some ways. And once we take one step, all the rest of the steps unfold from it. And yet, in this first season, those glimpses can be fleeting. They're unstable. We lose them. What happened to that? I thought I saw something there and it's gone. I had a moment of awe, but now I'm back in my stuff again. I experienced something immense, but now it's just me, like dreams. So this image of the silver bowl filled with snow, the snow is the temporary particulars of our life. The silver bowl that holds that snow is the ineffable, is the timeless, the empty, the radiant, the perfect, the whole. But we sense it out there, almost like a cathedral, right? We're in something large. We don't know yet what it is, and it causes us to seek. So each of these seasons are a dance between this ordinary and this ineffable. The second season, from winter, we could call spring. Out of our sutra, form and reflection behold each other. This is a moment in practice where we look in the mirror and all that's out there all of a sudden drops down in here. It's you. It's this life. It's not someone else's life in the future or in the past. This is it. Everything I see, everything I meet is my practice, is Buddha. And we begin to have glimpses of seeing all beings are practicing with us, moving with us, spouses, children, friends, enemies. This season, we become very intimate with life. And there's a kind of blooming that happens in our practice. That's beautiful. And as we begin to deepen into, as we drop down into our karmically conditioned life, we begin to clarify that more and more. Sometimes there's a moment of summer, this third very profound season. And in our song of the precious mere samadhi, it gives us little tastes. Wooden man starts to sing. Stone woman gets up dancing. So minute it enters where there is no gap. So vast it transcends all dimension. This is a moment of bright radiance where the emptiness is unequivocal. In the lunch chant that we do, well, actually at the 1:30 time on the other word for radiance, luminosity, the treasury of luminosity, it says, like meeting your grandfather in a crowded marketplace. What's that like? The crowded, oh, hello. I know you. You are so familiar. It's right there all along. And in this third season, in the height of summer, while it is so true, it also renders us speechless. We are overcome with the experience. It's not necessarily something foreign to us. We have no words for it. It's impossible. It's impossible to communicate. It's direct and joyous with deep release. Dogen says in one of his fascicles, yeah, you think you can eat 5 bowls of rice and dance upon the altar. You are filled with joy and humor, laughter, letting go. But this summer is a tricky season. For anyone attached to summer, you might have this experience. We become attached. It's seductive because the human mind wants to reassert itself, and anything delicious becomes an easy opiate that we crave. This kind of summer is tempting to hold on to. And in this song of Zazen, it says, to describe this period, a baby babbles, is anything said or not? In the end, it says nothing, for the words are not yet right. It's saying that, yeah, you have the radiant eyes, but you can not yet express it. So it's not useful yet. That's okay. You can be an innocent baby for a while. But this is what's beautiful about these teachings. That's not the last stop. There is no last stop. We must continue on and deepen. And that brings us to fall, the 4th season. And in our Song of Precious Mirror, Samadhi, it says, travel the pathways, embrace the territory, treasure the roads. What happens after those openings, large and small? They fall like so many leaves on a tree falling. They've served their purpose. We can't hold on to them. And for some, this is a great disappointment. Just when we thought we've arrived permanently, the next day happens. And our karmic habits reassert themselves. That's usually the transition in that place. We must return to a life that's messy, a life full of conflict, human relationships, love, joy, politics, pandemics, laundry, internets. It's all here. We must return to that life. And this 4th season is sobering, as fall is. And the light takes a different angle. There's a lovely line from a poem by Liesl Mueller that I've always loved. It says, the closed bud shrugs off its special mystery in order to break into blossom. That closed bud of specialness drops away, or say opens actually. And we return to the world of this and that, of choosing and picking. Even though in the previous season, we felt it didn't matter, now it matters again. And we engage a messy life. And finally, through these seasons, I want to bring us back to winter again. We return to where we started. We're back again in winter, in the 5th season, which is the season of maturity. And the lines in this Precious Mirror Samadhi say, function secretly like a fool, like an idiot. Function secretly, not special. This season in winter is ordinary. It's ordinary. The human eye and the Buddha eye organically see as needed. Life is lived in the particular moment after moment, and we align ourselves with the truth, moment to moment. The line that says, ministers serve their lords, little feudal, so it might not grab us, but it's a way of saying this self serves something greater. It's no longer about just me, though my life takes a certain shape. It's clear that one serves the truth day after day. The path is endless. There is no arriving. There's nothing special here. And that nothing special is extraordinary. Endless practice. Like a fool, like an idiot, we can laugh at ourselves. Not so serious. Not a special closed bud. There's humility. There's no pretensions. My teacher, Kyogen, lived in this season and showed me what it looks like. Showed me what it looks like. What I want to say about these seasons as a way of encouragement is that they are all present in some form. And I hope you recognize tastes of them in the same way that in the middle of winter, there are crocus and lily buds under the ground that haven't gone anywhere, that are beginning their journey. Or in the middle of summer when leaves start to die or fruits fall and start to compost that will feed the seeds of fall, winter. All these seasons are present, but sometimes it's helpful to see they do emerge in their fullness. We are celebrating this week the model or the example that Gautama Buddha did leave us on these 5 seasons. And I'm remembering last year, Mushin and I's talks throughout the week, following the Buddha's steps from birth to death. He also followed these seasons. In his first season, living in a palace, a certain kind of suffering, he was shocked by the suffering of sickness and death, caused him inner turmoil and caused him to seek. And his aha was seeing someone in robes, a mendicant. And he said, that's a path. I don't know where that leads, but I think it's somewhere. I'm going to go there. That's his season. His spring was to take up a path, to travel the roads, to try, to fail over and over again, like a battle-scarred tiger, to plumb the depths of his own karma, right through the very night under the tree under which he awoke. His third season is quite clear. As the morning star emerged, he was speechless. He had one phrase to say, I and all beings together simultaneously are awakened. That's it. And then he sat for days. People who found him said, are you a god? So radiant? He said, no, I'm awake. I'm awake. So he needed to sit in that speechless third season for a little while until, as the mythology goes, the gods came and said, there are some suffering people out there who need you. There are some people with just a little bit of dust in their eyes who would benefit from your guidance. That's the moment of the 4th season for him, where there's a knock on the door. You can't stay here. It's not functioning yet, but you could function out there. And he did. And a majority of his life was lived in this final 5th season, where he returned to the messy world, helped others. He walked into death threats, to wars, warring tribes, personal losses, loves, joys, illness, old age, and death. walked back in, and yet was not, something was completely transformed. And these 5 seasons are not a great mystery. They're here all the time. They're encouraging. They say, keep going, keep going. There's more. Don't get stuck somewhere. Wake up in any way possible to the timeless, the empty, the radiant, the perfect, the whole, which is you. If there's any directive that comes from the teaching on the 5 seasons, is this. And in fact, many of you brought this to me in Sanzen and said, this is where you are. Embrace the season you're in. Embrace the season you're in. We really only know a season after we've left one, so it's no matter. To embrace the season we're in means to study the flora and fauna and take joy in the path itself, not to be in a hurry. That makes all the difference. Each season has its own beauty. Who's been enjoying this winter beauty? I usually think of winter as, oh, I don't like that season. I like the spring and the summer. Winter is so beautiful. All of the shapes and the clouds and colors. We flourish in our own season when we practice wholeheartedly. And that's the directive in each one. It's the medicine in each one. If we stop in any season, that's a sickness. We stop when we are mired in self-doubt, skeptical doubt. We stop when we think we have something and it's good enough. So wherever we get stuck or stop, the season says, keep growing and moving. In the end, we are returned back to where we began. We return to where we began, and yet something has changed. I shared with someone today, after 20 years of practice, I don't feel like I've changed. This is the feeling. And it feels so odd to say, because I know I'm not the person who began, and yet I can't really tell you what's happened, really, until I get into specifics. Now, I no longer have that kind of anxiety. I no longer have that kind of question. But I don't feel like I've gone anywhere or become someone new. This timeless and empty and radiant and perfect and whole is here now in each season, nothing lacking. And as the song says, mastered or not, reality constantly flows. Given these seasons in which we are blessed with this path, why not take joy in just being alive? Why not take joy in having this amazing time-tested practice that we share with good friends on the path? Why not enjoy the season in which we find ourselves? Keep going.